What is good? What's good? Cyrus here. I'm gonna be back in an hour actually with special guest, friend of show, River. We're gonna have a discussion on what's going on in Ohio. I just wanted to jump on real quick while I had time. Excuse my dust. I'm trying to figure out my background. I don't know why the green screen's not working for me in StreamYard. It works from my laptop camera, so there's some other glitch going on. But I wanted to get on this. This story came out actually a while ago. This story came out January. I just found out about it today. Looks like it's been going viral, going the rounds on Twitter. And that's how I found the story. Daily Wire, or I believe it was Daily Wire or Daily Caller, one of them, talked about this at the end of January. And it's a good example of how the Democratic Party is just, man, they're so good and entrenched in every walk of life. And this is a great example to show how powerful it is, how powerful they are. And it really does show what needs to happen for change to happen. Let me share the article right now. Thanks for joining. I'll be in and out, then I'll be back at 2 p.m. Eastern to talk with special guest River. So I'll take a little break in between streams here. For me, this is difficult to watch. I have two young kids, 3 and 6, and you're going to see kids in the 4 to 5-year-old range interacting with someone who's entrusted to be their teacher. And you're going to see how some people, in my opinion, abuse that trust. Of course, we're going to talk about, homeschooling is an option, but you can't ignore this, and you have to share a society with people who believe in this and do stuff like this. So it's very pertinent. Let me play the clip, then I have multiple clips. So let me play this first clip, and then I'm going to react and then read some of the article. So I'm going to play this clip here, and this is going to be for people just listening and not watching. There's a non-binary.
Huckleberries.
There's a non-binary, somebody who identifies as non-binary, teaching a group of 4 to 5-year-olds using a persona. I believe they call it a persona doll. This persona doll is going to be non-binary, and they're teaching the 4 to 5-year-olds what that means. That's what you're going to be listening to here.
Oh, Huckleberries. Today, I wanted to introduce you to a new friend in our class. Well, this, Huckleberries, is my friend Nash. It's their first day in our class. They're just looking around at all of you, and they're so curious to know who you all are.
Today was fun. It was really interesting, though, going in, being like, I don't know what questions kiddos are going to have or what they're going to say, which is both like nerve-wracking, but also kind of exciting. It's that place of not knowing as a teacher and just being okay with that.
And the friend likes to ask the question, are you a boy or a girl? And Nash answers, I'm just a kid.
But kids can be boys or...
They can be boys or girls. Yeah.
Or maybe non-binary.
Yeah.
It was just like non-binary, yeah. That's just something that we know. And this is something, it's like, they're 4 and 5 years old, and they just didn't make a big deal out of being a boy or a girl.
And I think it was a huge testament to how much we've been talking about it in the classroom that you never mentioned the term non-binary. It was a child who brought that up because it's constantly in conversation.
Yeah, just like me. So Nash, just like me, is non-binary. So they aren't sure if they're a boy or a girl. So when people ask them, are you a boy or a girl? Right now they just feel like saying, I'm a kid. They're figuring it out.
Why does he like stars?
They like stars.
They like stars.
Yeah. And they
And
are
why did he
really
wear a star?
Just completely changing the English language right before your very eyes.
They wore their star shirt because it's their favorite shirt, and because they were nervous today, they thought they would wear something that makes them feel special.
This is disgusting to me. This is very aggressive behavior, what you're seeing here. I wouldn't, if I had a group of 4 to 5-year-olds in any setting in front of me, I wouldn't force my beliefs on what toppings I like on pizza on them, much less something that intimate. And this type of aggression doesn't stop. It's getting worse. It's completely out of hand. So let me give you a little bit more context with it. What's going on here? This is a required training through. So getting this accreditation through this group here is voluntary, to my knowledge. I'm going to talk about it here. This is through Jordy Lancaster of the Washington Free Beacon. I don't know how it resurfaced when it really came out in January, but it kind of resurfaced. I saw it today. This article is from the 15th. So this is from a group that accredits North Carolina daycare centers. Now, to my knowledge, that is voluntary. There are multiple places you can go through accreditation that all don't require this type of viewing, but I just want to share what this group is doing. Encourage early childhood educators to teach kids as young as 4 about transgenderism and the Black Lives Matter movement, which we'll get to in a second. In October, the North Carolina Association for the Education of Young Children hosted a conference for child care professionals to complete the mandatory training hours. This is mandatory if you go through the North Carolina Association for the Education of Young Children for accreditation. So you could go through, I'm not an expert on this, I'm just looking at it now. I've never even dug into this type of stuff before. It looks like you can go through different groups. And this group, North Carolina Association for the Education of Young Children, is not that I could find directly tied into the state of North Carolina. But if I were an official in the state of North Carolina, I would be highly concerned. So somehow they must be, if they can do accreditation for daycares and stuff like that. But I couldn't see like a direct, like this state said you have to do this. This is a nonprofit group, and we're seeing the same type of thing at NGO, kind of like Twitter. Twitter's a private company. They can do what they want. The government doesn't want to do it directly, or they can't do it, or they're afraid of the legal ramifications of doing it, and they do it through a third-party group. So to get licensed through this group, the attendees were required to watch Reflecting on Anti-Bias Education in Action, the Early Years. This is a documentary that follows teachers at 2 West Coast preschools as they drill their young pupils in a number of, what I would agree with this distinction, woke subjects. My definition of woke is when you allow an authority outside of God to define your morality, to make moral decisions or judgments for you. And that's what's happening here. In the video that I just played, you cannot believe in God and believe in this video. It is impossible, and that's my opinion. Remember, woke is a relative term. What I might think is woke, you might not think is woke. What you think is woke, the next person might not think is woke. And that's a part of a postmodern society. It's all relative. So yes, that is opinion. And so in my opinion, this fits with woke. Woke is the way that I use woke, it is a complete 100% opinion. God's watching. Thanks for stopping by. It says, I have a 6-year-old, and it's heartbreaking to see how teachers are abusing the power they have over our children to force feed their ideology and beliefs. We need cameras in classrooms. I'm not for cameras in classrooms, but I definitely understand the sentiment. My thought is, yeah, we do need cameras in classrooms, but that's not the learning environment that I want. So that means we need to revamp that whole educational system. So it's a weird way. Yeah, I do agree. We need cameras in classrooms, but that's not what the environment I would want. So what that means is our environment and our trust in government society has fallen to the point where we have to do something whole different. It's much bigger than saying, oh, I'm going to homeschool my kids. That doesn't solve this problem. I'm going to go back to this video one more time. And I think this person, Maddie Piper, I believe is the person's name. I don't think they have bad intent, but I do, it doesn't matter. It's still problematic.
Huckleberries. Today,
I want to do this one more time, and I didn't really interrupt it too much. I want to kind of break this down a little bit before I move on.
I wanted to introduce you to a new friend in our class.
So you look at the children are staring intently because they're looking at someone that they probably trust. And this person has a doll, and they want to know what's this doll in their hands. The doll, if you're just listening, it has darker skin, probably you could say a black doll that is non-binary.
Well, this, Huckleberries, is
See, that's what they like. They like young children because they soak up information like a sponge. My son could rattle off the names of dinosaurs I never heard in my life just because we kept reading this dinosaur book over and over and over. And I'm like, yeah, let's try to diversify a little bit. Memorizing dinosaurs is great, but it's not going to, let's try to do some math or something. Something more fundamental, which is great. Memorizing dinosaurs is better than now he's trying to memorize Pokemon cards. But they just soak up whatever it is. It's Pokemon, Transformers, G.I. Joe, gender theory, race theory. They just soak it up. They love that. About the children are a blank canvas. They love it. You can see it in the face of this person here. They just love it.
my friend Nash. It's their first day in our class. They're just looking around at all of you, and they're so curious to know who you all are.
So she's saying they to describe the doll. Have we changed grammar? I don't understand what's happening now. So at the expense of just the grammar that I used growing up, completely revamped now for the sake of a certain ideology. Now, what I would have respected from this, because I have nothing against somebody who identifies as non-binary. Notice what God's Watching put in the chat. God's Watching was very specific here. He said, force feed their ideology and beliefs. That's what God's Watching is talking about. That's what I don't want to put words in God's Watching mouth, but that's where I'm at too. It's force feeding the beliefs. I don't give a damn if you're non-binary. It doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't care. But what I do care is that you are making somebody else believe what you believe. They don't have to believe what you believe. They don't have to call you they or them. There is no obligation to do that. That is an act of force, of a strong act, not a minor act of force. This is a very significant, strong act of force. Who says that I have to call you they, them? Says who? So she's putting that on, and instead, or not see, this person here is putting this on, and this person here doesn't identify as male or female. So what I need you to do is, I don't have a problem broaching that subject because there are people in this world that don't identify as male or female. My kids are going to have to live the world with them and learn how to live with them peacefully and hopefully work on things together. So if you want to say, hey, I go by they, them, whatever, and I don't identify as male or female, then any questions beyond that, you want to go ask mommy or daddy. That's the end of the conversation. They take the conversation to teaching opinion as fact. So they take the conversation much, much further than that, than saying, here's what I believe. If you don't have to believe that. Little Billy or Sue, you feel like a girl, you don't have to believe what I believe. They don't get into, no, they don't do that.
And the friend likes to ask the question, are you a boy or a girl? And Nash answers, I'm just a kid.
So why don't they have the other option where, yeah, I'm a girl? Why isn't that a part of the training as well? Oh, yeah, I'm a boy. I'm not confused. If it was really inclusive, you would have that, you would have that, and you would have that. But no. This isn't about being inclusive. This is about forcing an ideology onto little kids.
But kids can be boys or
They can be boys or girls. Yeah.
or maybe non-binary.
Yeah.
So they are so indoctrinated that they're volunteering, or they, what does that mean? Or non-binary. A couple of the kids. The first kids are like, oh yeah, they could be boys or girls. Then the other one says, oh no, they could be theys. Oh no, they could be non-binary.
Yeah.
It was just like non-binary, yeah. That's just something that we know.
And in their little clips here, I didn't watch this whole documentary, and their little clips here, to me, they show no care in the world for the kids. It's all about, how did I feel? Or did that feel weird to me? It's all about you.
Today was fun. It was really interesting.
I'm not here for your fun, Maddie. See, you're somebody I would have no beef with under normal circumstances. Right now, if you believe what you're doing is okay, you are a threat to me. It's completely out of pocket what's happening here.
Though, knowing going in, being like, I don't know what questions kiddos are gonna have or what they're gonna say, which is both like nerve-wracking, but also kind of exciting.
I don't care how nervous you are. I don't care how exciting it is for you. Do not care.
Place of not knowing as a teacher and just being okay with that.
Yeah. Maddie, are you okay if a teacher teaches the opposite? Because that's what would have to be allowed. If you're going to teach that, then somebody should be able to teach the opposite, which is two genders. And now we have balance. I'm going to go on with the article. The article goes on to, this could even be, I think it's equally as disturbing, but it's surreal to watch some of this stuff. So they go on to bring up, of course, Black Lives Matter. Of course, they bring it up as a fact again, as if it is something to love and behold. And I'm going to play the clip here, but let me show later on in this film, this documentary, the young children make Black Lives Matter signs, and they march them around preschool. The class also writes a statement supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, which one of the children reads to the camera. This is literally the Democratic Party indoctrinating children to be Democrats. That's literally what it is. No hyperbole, no qualifications, no reservations, no hesitations, and no stuttering. So when I call the Democrat Party, and Republicans are included in this too, they can label themselves as Republicans. If there are Republicans that agree with this, they are Democrats in my book. This is the most evil organization that has ever existed in our country. And here's what it looks like. This is what it plays out as.
Together with your teachers, what can we do to help make this a better place for everybody, a more fair place? So they came back the next day, and one of the children said, we need to support Black Lives Matter, and we need to make signs, and we need to hang them up so that people know that Black Lives Matter, and it's so important. And I was like, great, let's look to the children for the ideas. Tomorrow we'll get the paper, we'll get the paint. No, Nadia, this is really important work. We can't wait till tomorrow. We have to do it now. Yes, let's do it now. You're right, this is important work. I can't wait till tomorrow. And we started this journey on, well, what does that mean, Black Lives Matter? And what can our role be in supporting this movement? We got sticks, we put the signs on the sticks, and we had a march around the school. And again, Nadia, it's not over. That's just in our school. That's just walking around our yard, we have to go in all the classrooms in our school and tell them how important Black lives are. They need to put our signs up in their windows.
We could talk about ways to do Black Lives Matter. Maybe we could do it from section talking. I'd agree with Russell. Me too. Me too.
I told them, well, let me check with our director so we can make a plan on when that could happen. No, we should check with the director. Invite her to our morning meeting. Okay, yes, let's invite her. You're right. So that was really important for me to really just take a step back and let them be the leaders in this. So I did invite our director. Belan came in and she listened to their ideas about going to all the classrooms to, they were calling it spread the word. So she brought in our school's diversity statement and gave them a little bit of the history of the school, that social justice has been something that the school has been committed to for a long time. And she suggested to them, well, what if you wrote something to show the other classrooms that explained why these signs are important and what it means? The next week, we were able to get everyone's word and craft it together into this statement that we would deliver to all the classrooms.
This is our Black Lives Matter sign, and we have a Black Lives Matter statement. We hope you'll hang the sign up and help us spread the word. The word I'm talking about is Black Lives Matter. Peace out!
So Coyotes, thank you for all of your hard work. It's really inspirational. And we are also making some signs.
Behind you.
And I can't wait to read your statement. This is amazing.
Down there.
You guys are doing very, very important work, and this is a very important message. So thanks, Coyotes.
The Black Lives Matter movement is a group of people who want to make sure that people of all skin colors are treated fairly. Black Lives Matter means...
It just really gave me so much hope that these children are such great leaders already. And I started calling them social justice leaders, which really made them proud.
But right now, Black Lives Matter because Black people are not being treated fairly. And that's not nice or respectful of people's feelings.
We're setting the foundation for children to be advocates for themselves and for their communities. And nothing can be more important, especially in these days. And it's not something that we can gloss over or not think about. It's in our bones, and it's in my bones as a gay man. I have experienced prejudice and violence in the world. And so I want the world to be a just place for all children and a fair place for all.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I don't care about what prejudice or bias you faced. Everybody has hardship. If this is how it is, if you experience prejudice and this is how you react, then you're problematic. There was a group called the Triple K in our country. I don't know if they still exist. I'm sure they still do in some way, shape, or form. They were a domestic terrorist organization founded shortly after the Civil War. And there's been a lot said about them. And what I'm seeing here is the same thing. It's just more brilliant because it's not just terrorizing Black people anymore, which typically that's what, for the most part, the Triple K did. It's terrorizing everyone. Because now who has the courage to speak out against these people who probably have no ill intent, even though they are doing very dangerous and harmful things, in my opinion? Who has the courage to step up and say, nah, this ain't for me? Not many people. How many people have the courage to go on record and say that? It's the same type of force, but more efficient. You don't need violence. It's more like peer pressure. And it applies to everyone, from a white person to a Black person to everyone. So it's more efficient, no violence, applies to everyone. Same thing. Bullied and funneled into one organization. There's only one organization at the top that agrees with this stuff, and that's the Democrat Party. Exact same nonsense. Nonsense doesn't stop. Here's the same teacher
is
discussing.
we need to, children,
Of course, he's discussing himself some more and how he wants to feel safe.
is we need to, children need to feel safe to be whoever they want to be. And that is what's happening in the dramatic play area. They are acting out different ways of being in the world. In one of my first morning meetings, I bring a skirt that I like to wear. I tell the children that, I want to wear the skirt, but I want to make sure that I feel safe wearing a skirt in the classroom. And so I'm just a little bit afraid that someone might laugh or they might feel uncomfortable. So I just want you to know that sometimes I wear a skirt and it's really comfortable. I like it. I like to spin around in it. That is one way to use my own personal things that I like to do as a model for dramatic play. And so the children,
Yeah, you heard that correctly.
someone might laugh
If you didn't hear that one more time,
or they might feel uncomfortable. So I just want you to know that sometimes I wear a skirt and it's really comfortable. I like it. I like to spin around in it. That is one way to use my own personal things that I like to do.
one more once, he said he likes to spin around in it.
Skirt and it's really comfortable. I like it. I like to spin around in it.
What the hell does that have to do with teaching kids how to count, the alphabet, math, history? What the hell does that have to do with it? So I'm gonna end with this. They definitely control things through gatekeeping. So you have these organizations that they know in order to survive, they have to believe a certain ideology. It's gate kept. If you want accreditation, you go through these people. They did the same thing in this article. They talked about pediatrics, all walks of life. That's why you saw what happened with the pandemic. In this article, they talk about pediatrics. This is the latest instance of an accrediting body pushing radical racial and gender ideologies on children. I don't care that it's radical. I just care that it's an opinion that shouldn't be pushed on anybody. I'm not afraid of radical ideas or opinions. I don't push them on anybody else's kids. I don't want those to be pushed on, for damn sure not my kids, but I don't want them pushed on any kids that the parents don't want it to happen. That's really why they had the whole Florida parental rights bill. The American Academy of Pediatrics, which sets standards for pediatricians, has come under fire for endorsing these sex change operations for children as young as 10. 0 to 3, the top early childhood development group in the nation, has said signs of transgender identity can begin to emerge in children as young as 2. Also reported by the Washington Free Beacon. This documentary where I play these clips are from West Coast schools or areas. One of them's from Portland University. Other ones, I believe, from San Francisco. No surprise there. But if you want to know why the culture war is important, you better know what's going on at least, because it's going to come to your doorstep. Let me know what you think. I'm going to be back in about 45 minutes with River. Completely different topic. We're going to be talking about East Palestine, Ohio, and her personal beliefs there. And she has a lot of inside information. We're going to go through some different stuff here. We're hearing that FEMA, officially we've heard FEMA is not going to be helping out, at least as of right now. And Mayor Pete and others. So stay tuned. We'll be doing that for about an hour in 45 minutes, 12 Mountain, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. Appreciate y'all. See you in a minute. Peace.